Canyon County, Idaho. Farm country, sugar beets, onions, the Snake River Plain running flat to the mountains. In 1922, in the little town of Melba, a boy is born named Robert Palmer. 2 years later, over the mountains in the Blue Ridge country of North Carolina, a girl is born named Ruth Lundy. They will meet. They will marry. Their son will be named Doug. Palmer and Lundy, two of the most ordinary names in America. The kind of names that sit quietly in a phone book. Nobody at that wedding thought they were watching history do anything special. But names are rivers. They flow downhill through time, from parent to child, carrying everything upstream inside them. And on that wedding day, two rivers that had been running apart for 300 years, through different Englands, different boats, different Americas, different faiths that once jailed each other, finally ran together. This is the story of where those two rivers rise, and of a name that was lost overboard on the crossing and how it was found again. Follow the Palmer River upstream and you climb through Idaho, back through Ohio Rivertown cemeteries, back through Connecticut Hill Farms, and you arrive here, Stonington, on the Connecticut shore, and at a man named Walter Palmer. Walter came to Massachusetts in 1629, 1 year ahead of the great Puritan fleet. A giant of a man by the accounts that survived. He helped build Charlestown, moved on to a new town called Rehoboth, and then, past 60 years old, helped found Stonington itself. One of the first Englishmen on this shore. In Rehoboth, there is a river that still carries the family's name, the Palmer River. It has been called that for very close to 400 years. And here is the document that anchors this whole line. Walter Palmer's will, written the 19th of May, 1658. His own arrangements, in a clerk's 17th-century hand, item, to my son Jonas, half the planting lot, at the New Meadow River, by Seekonk. One line of ink. But that line hands a farm lot in Rehoboth to his son Jonas, and in Rehoboth, the very next year, Jonas records the birth of his son Samuel. The will welds the generations together. Not a guess. Not somebody's family tree on the internet. A dying father's own instructions. Samuel, born 1659. Samuel marries Elizabeth Kinsley, 1680. Their son Seth, born 1694. Seth's son Joseph, born 1736, and Seth's own will, naming my son Joseph, proving it twice. Generation after generation, each one carrying its record, 11 generations in an unbroken chain from Doug all the way to Walter. And the Palmer River has a tributary. Through a marriage in 1750, this family also descends from Deacon John Doan of Plymouth Colony, a founding generation leader who served as an assistant to Governor Bradford himself and helped found the town of Eastham, out on Cape Cod, where a great glacial boulder still carries the family name, Doan Rock. Puritan, Massachusetts. Pilgrim, Plymouth. That's one river. The second river rises in a different England entirely and lands in a different America. In 1682, a young Quaker named Richard Lundy arrived in William Penn's brand new Pennsylvania. The Quakers were the outcasts of the English world. In Puritan Boston, being one was a whipping offense. The two rivers in this story began as enemies. Richard settled in Bucks County, on land William Penn himself confirmed to him, 1,000 acres in Buckingham Township. He became an elder of the Friends meeting. His family married into the families of Penn's inner circle, the Larges, the Doans, yes, the Plymouth Doans, whose grandchildren had turned Quaker and come to Pennsylvania. The rivers in this story keep almost touching, and the Simcocks, whose founder, John Simcock, sat on Penn's provincial council and served as Speaker of the Pennsylvania Assembly. Then, like tens of thousands of colonial families, the Lundys went down the road. The road, the Great Wagon Road, out of Pennsylvania, down the long valley of Virginia, into the Blue Ridge. You can see it on this map, drawn in 1751, marked in the engraver's own words, the Great Wagon Road. They settled where the New River cuts through Grayson County, Virginia, a Quaker colony at Chestnut Creek, and spilled over the state line into Surry County, North Carolina, under Pilot Mountain. 5 more generations of Lundys farmed those hills. And in 1924, under those same hills, Ruth Lundy was born. 2 rivers, one flowing Boston, to Stonington, to Ohio, to Idaho, one flowing Devon, to Pennsylvania, to the Blue Ridge, 300 years apart. And then Robert met Ruth, and the rivers joined. Before the 2 rivers could meet, the country they'd meet in had to be made. And this family didn't watch that happen from a window. In 1777, in the hill town of Scotland, Connecticut, a boy from the Palmer River walked into the Connecticut militia. His name was Joseph Palmer. He was 16 years old, the 6th generation of this family in America, and the great-great-great-grandfather of Doug Palmer. He served his enlistment in Colonel Douglas's regiment and was discharged. 10 days, the record says, before the traitor Benedict Arnold came home to Connecticut and burned New London to the ground. 10 days. The war left him disabled. The pension file his widow Hannah filed still sits in the National Archives, and today he is a recognized patriot of the American Revolution, which means his descendants, Doug among them, carry a documented revolutionary line, eligible for the lineage societies that guard those names. And the revolution didn't just pass through this family, it moved them. When the war generation was paid in Western land, the Palmers joined the Revolutionary veterans settling the brand new Ohio country, Washington County, Ohio, the first American settlement of the Northwest Territory. Joseph Palmer, the 16-year-old private, lies buried there today in Palmer Township. They named the ground after his family. And the second river, the Quakers would not carry muskets. Their conscience forbade it. But don't mistake that for sitting out the American story. This same Lundy family, the descendants of Richard of Axminster, cousins of Doug's own line, produced Benjamin Lundy, one of the first great abolitionists in American history, a little Quaker saddlemaker who founded anti-slavery newspapers a generation before the Civil War, walked thousands of miles for the cause, and personally recruited a young editor named William Lloyd Garrison. One river fought for the country's independence. The other fought for its conscience. 250 years on, that's the inheritance in one bloodline, the musket at 16 and the printing press. Stop and hold that. 250 years ago this summer, 56 men declared that a nation could belong to its people. But a declaration is just paper. It was defended by farm boys. One of them was 16 from the Palmer River, and he came home disabled and stayed in the fight for a pension his widow finally won. Because boys like him held, there is a free nation, and every free nation since has borrowed its language. This family didn't inherit the American story. They helped write it. But where does the Lundy River actually rise? Richard Lundy left one clue. His family recorded that he was of Axminster in the county of Devon, son of Sylvester Lundy. And there, for 120 years, the trail died. The great published genealogy of this family, compiled around 1900, closed the book with the sentence, "Genealogists dread. We have told all that is known of Sylvester Lundy." Researchers went to the Axminster registers. They searched for Lundy. There was nothing. A whole family vanished from the town they said they came from. Here is what everyone missed. The parish clerks of Devon never wrote the name Lundy at all. In the original Axminster Register, in 1662, there is a baptism. Maylene Lendon, Father Sylvester, Mother Mary. Sylvester, Axminster. The right man, the right town, the right decade, under a different spelling. The family's Devon name was Lendon. Somewhere on the crossing to Pennsylvania, in the mouths of new neighbors, Lendon became Lundy, and that one drifted vowel walled off the family's origin for more than a century. The name came off the boat different. And once you know the real name, the river runs deeper. 40 miles away is Crediton, the Lendon family's capital, where the registers hold nearly 300 Lendon baptisms across as many years. And there, the records reach one generation further still, an older Sylvester Lendon. His will proved in 1633. His burial, the 3rd of December, 1633, at Crediton, the only man of that name in the early modern record of England. And one page further back, a baptism from February 1610, a child named Sylvester, in a register so faded that no one, then or now, has been able to read the surname beside his name. It is very likely our Sylvester as an infant. The ink is still there, waiting for modern imaging in an English archive to bring it back. That page is where this story currently ends, not because the family stops, but because that is honestly as far as the evidence reaches today. Real research has edges. This is one of them, and it can still move. One more thing about what is not in this family's tree. The internet wanted to give this family a fairy tale. Online systems repeatedly offered a pedigree above Walter Palmer, a knight of the Massachusetts Bay Colony, who died 44 years before the colony existed. A noblewoman styled goddaughter of Queen Elizabeth. It was invented, every note of it, and it was removed. Twice, because it kept trying to come back. The Mayflower was close enough to touch. This family's Cape Cod cousins married into Mayflower lines all around them. But their own specific chain does not pass through a Mayflower passenger, so no Mayflower is claimed. A false certificate helps no one. And the truth needs no borrowing anyway. This family crossed just 9 years behind the Mayflower, among the first few thousand English settlers in New England, not passengers on a famous ship, but the people who built the towns. Because here is the thing this family understood before we ever met them. In 1881, hundreds of Walter Palmer's descendants pitched a tent at Stonington on the old man's land and held one of America's first great family reunions. They chose a coat of arms that day, the old Palmer arms of Sussex, a golden shield, 2 red bars set with trefoils, a black greyhound at full run, and under it a motto, Palmam que meruit ferat. Let him who has earned it bear the palm. That is this whole story in 5 words. Not borrowed glory, earned paper. 11 generations, each carrying its record. 3 colonial worlds, Puritan, Pilgrim, and Quaker, braided into one Idaho family. A lost name, recovered, letter by letter from a register written when Shakespeare's generation was still alive. The family always said it longer than anyone could remember. We came from England in the 1600s. They did. And now they can prove it. And proof has an address. The Palmer River still slides quietly past Rehoboth. The Tower of St. Mary still stands over Axminster, and the Crediton Church, where Sylvester's children were carried to the font, still holds services. Finding the record is half the journey. The other half is standing in the places it names, and that half changes people. We take families home to walk this ground themselves. And when a family can't make the crossing, we make it for them and bring the ground home to you.